Hello! It's been nearly a month since I did my last video, and in that time I've managed to get some pretty decent things for the collection, and I just thought I would show them off because I've got nothing else to do right now. So I thought I'd get the iPad out, sit here, talk at it, and then put it on YouTube, and if anyone watches it then great. If they don't, I've not lost anything. But you might have gained an insight into some new games that you didn't know about before. Certainly one anyway. Although that's not a guarantee I'm going to make. Okay, the vast majority of these, I'm going to apologise now, are pretty much like Dreamcast. There's one that isn't Dreamcast, so if you're not a fan of the Dreamcast, you might as well just not watch this video. But you know, you might find it interesting again. Okay, so they're all down here on the floor. The first thing I'm going to show you though is something that I've been doing the last couple of days, and that is a process that involves putting some sorry about my accent, cream onto yellow Dreamcasts, leaving them in the sun with a bit of cling film wrapped over them, and the result is this. This was ridiculously yellow a few days ago, and now it's gleaming white. This is actually one of the, it's just a shell, it's not, there was no insides to it, because the Dreamcast that was in it broke ages ago, and I just had the shell knocking about, so I tested it on this one first, and it went really well. As you can see, this was, oh, I should have done a before and after really, but it's not a video about this. So yeah, I've been doing that. To be honest, if I never see the inside of another Dreamcast, as long as I live I'll be happy, because I've done it with all of them now, and it's not a hard process taking the innards of a Dreamcast out of the shell. It's just laborious, taking all the little screws out and unplugging everything and then putting it all back together again. It's just boring. I also did the modems as well, and they can be a bitch to put back together again just because of the way the metal innard goes into the plastic casing. It's just a pain. But they're all done now and they all look great. Here's a Japanese one that I did as well. It's, you know, you can tell it looks like it's on the Daz Doorstep Challenge, doesn't it? I mean, look how brilliant white that is. Anyway, so I've been doing that. Now onto the things. I hate using the term pickups because it just seems like a cliche, but that's what they are essentially. Before I go into the games though, I did also manage to get, sorry, stream close up, a load of Dreamcast magazines. Dreamcast magazine was the, I think, Paragon Publishing magazine. It was like an alternative to the official Dreamcast magazine, and somebody was selling these on eBay for, there was no starting bid, or there was a starting bid of like a penny or something, so I bid like a few pounds and nobody else bid on them, so I got all them for about £4, which I felt a bit bad about, because some people are selling magazines on eBay for extortionate prices. Like one issue of this magazine, some people sell them for like a tenner each, if not more, and I just felt a bit bad for the seller. I mean, obviously the rules are that you sell your item for what it goes for, and that's what they went for, so I can't really do anything about that, but hey ho. Dreamcast magazine, incidentally, it was the magazine that was going the longest out of them all. I think the official one shut down before Dreamcast magazine shut down, and they carried on going right up till the end of the Dreamcast natural lifespan, and it's just really well written magazine. It's a little bit more sort of, what's the word? It's a bit more like N64 magazine. It's a bit more tongue in cheek than the official one, or the others like DC UK and Dreamcast Monthly, etc. But anyway, that's the magazines. We want to talk about games. Well, I do. So some of the all of the games that I've got since my last video are here on the floor, and I'm just going to go through them and explain what they are. The first one is not a Dreamcast game, so you're in for a treat if you're not a big fan of the Dreamcast. But if you're not a fan of the Saturn, it's not really a treat. So it's Impact Racing for the Sega Saturn. Again, like the magazines, this cost very, very little. Right, I'm a bit of a cheapskate, right? So I don't spend a lot of money on games. You might think, God, how much money has he got to spend on all this stuff? Literally go on eBay, and if I see something for like under a fiver, I'll bid on it. Usually if it goes over that, I'll just go, right, I'm not interested. So it might look like I'm spending loads of money and I've got loads of disposable income, but I really haven't. I'm just a normal person, but I spend very little, and I'm very savvy on eBay, for example. So yeah, that was like maybe, it might have even been less than £2. obviously you've got to take into consideration postage as well. So a lot of these had like £3 postage on them as well, but still not a lot when you consider what I managed to get. Some of them I actually picked up in person as well, so there was no postage. So yeah, Impact Racing, that's a vehicular combat game for the Sega Saturn. It's a Japanese version because I do have a Japanese Saturn just within arm's distance. Yeah, it's quite basic. It reminds me a little bit of Crash and Burn on 3DO, where you just kind of drive forward and hold the trigger button down, shooting cars and dropping mines. There's not that much more to it, to be honest. It's quite basic, and because it's so basic, the language barrier is not. It doesn't. There is no language barrier. There is obviously, if I remember rightly, there might be a little bit of Japanese text, but there's not that much, and it's pretty easy just to work your way through the game. Might as well just be a PAL version. So yeah, Impact Racing. Right, onto the Dreamcast stuff now. The first one is a... before my last video, I mentioned that I was about to go to play Blackpool, which was the following weekend. Obviously that's like in the past now, and so some of these games I got from Play Blackpool, some of them I got from Console Passion, and they were very reasonably priced, to be honest, and I'll show you what I got in a minute. And some of them were fantastic bargains, to be honest, so thank you to them. This one, however, I got from the guy who made it. His name is Ben Lancaster, and the game is James and Watch Arm. James and Watch is a play on Game and Watch, because as you can see on the back, it's basically, you put the game in and then it just comes up on the screen as if it's a Game and Watch. It's very basic, but it's quite charming, really. If you type James and Watch Arm into Google and Dreamcast, you'll find my article that I did for the Dreamcast Junkyard about this game, and it comes about from a story that they told on the Retro Gaming Roundup podcast about some three brothers, and there was two of them, and they would throw the youngest brother up in the air, and then one day they decided to let him drop on the floor and see what would happen, and he broke his arm. So that's what the game is. You control the third youngest brother, and the two older brothers are moving along at the bottom. And I believe it's an homage to a Game and Watch game called Ball. I've never played a Game and Watch, but I can kind of see what they were getting at, or they say what they're aiming for, as you can see there. Go on YouTube, you'll find, well, you're on YouTube now, just type James and Watch Arm into YouTube in that little thing at the top, but not before you've finished watching this video, because that's what you're here for. Me! Right, next. I'll go through the ones I got from Play Blackpool first, just to confuse you thoroughly. So yeah, I was wandering around Play Blackpool and I saw the Console Passion display. If you're not familiar, Console Passion, open up a new window browser up there, or up there, wherever it might be, type Console Passion and you'll come across their website, and they attend these events and they sell different consoles and games and all kinds of stuff, and they're quite decent guys, to be honest. Just chatting to the owner a bit as well, and yeah, just decent blokes. And so I was looking at the Dreamcast stuff, and I came across a little stack of United States games, or NTSCU as they're more commonly known, and I decided that I wanted several of them, and I think the most expensive one was £8. So I did spend about maybe 30 in total, but that's because I was at an event and I'd saved up for that. So here they are. Okay, the first one is Max Steel. This is a US exclusive, and it's based on the cartoon of the same name. I'm not sure if it was a hand-drawn cartoon or one of them CGI ones, like the reboot of Captain Scarlet. But it's decent, and you just it's just a 3D roll and beat 'em up. You just wander around, kicking and punching and shooting enemies. Graphics are quite good. I can totally I can totally understand why they didn't bring this out over here, because as far as I know, Max Steel wasn't much of a thing in the UK. I don't ever remember seeing it on TV. I'm only aware of the name because I knew it was a Dreamcast game, and up until seeing it in at Console Passion's store, I didn't even know it came out. I thought it was like an unreleased beta, that was available to download. So I didn't know there was an actual retail version. So yeah, Max Steel, might do an article on that sometime soon. Okay, next I got, this is one, if it comes up as a PAL game on eBay, you're talking over 100 quid for some reason. I have no idea why. And this one I got from Console Passion for, I think it was about 6 quid. Evolution 2, NTSC version. It's probably, it's no different to the PAL version other than that it's the NTSC version. It's all in English. It's got the same game essentially, and yeah, it's all complete. Yeah, see, book, everything like that. I've not actually fired this up yet. I've got the original Evolution somewhere. I played it for about 20 minutes or so when I first got it. Not a big fan of RPGs, but I thought for 6 quid or whatever it was, I can't not get that. So that was awesome. I did get another one from them as well. What was it? Very unprofessional of me, this. I do apologise. I got something else as well from Play. I'm an idiot, me, aren't I? Where is it? Here it is. Got that from, I think they're called Game Dojo or something like that. That was a tenner. King of Fighters 2001. As you can see there. This is one of the ones that was made by just Playmore, and there's no SNK branding anywhere on the box. I don't know if I've mentioned that before. It's still quite good. Like, King of Fighters game, innit? Probably going to get crucified for this, but you played one King of Fighters game, you played them all, haven't you? I'm sure I got another one from Console Passion. Bear with me a second. Maybe I didn't. I thought I did. I must be making that up. Okay, moving on. No more awkward pauses, hopefully. This one I got for £5. Dynamite Decker. It's just Dynamite Cop, but the original Japanese version. And yeah, it's the same as the PAL version, as far as I know. Just got a nicer box. And yeah, Dynamite Cop. This one I got, again, if I've mentioned these before in the past, I'm sorry, but I forget what I've shown and what I've not. Demolition Racer No Exit. Another one that wasn't released in the UK. No idea why. It's a great game. It's kind of like Destruction Derby. But yeah, you just drive around, smash the car up, get points for, totaling other cars, smashing them into walls, etc. You've got to win the race, and you've got to finish the race to be with a chance of winning it, because you get points, and there's different game modes. It's just good fun. I can't understand why I didn't release it in this country, because there's no reason why it shouldn't have sold well. It's just another great Dreamcast game we ever got over here. I'm determined that I got another one from Console Passion. I'm convinced. I mustn't have. So that's thrilling watching me look at them. Another one got in the post. Just a minute, Postie's here. Sorry, a short intermission. The postman or the postwoman came. I just answered the door, and I haven't got my glasses on, and I just thought it was a man. I went, "Hiya, mate," and I looked up and it was a woman. It's quite weird. It's quite sort of eerie actually that that's just happened, because I was speaking to somebody on the Dreamcast Junkyard Facebook group, and they were saying how their Dreamcast is broken, and I said, "Oh, I've got loads of spare bits knocking about, such as this, just hanging around." I said, "Oh, send it me and I'll have a look at it." And he said he's made a few minor modifications to it. Funnily enough, that's what it is. So this guy sent me his Dreamcast, and he said that the disc drive wasn't spinning, and that the fan wasn't working, so we had to make a few minor modifications to it. So this is the Dreamcast. It's quite yellow actually. I might do some of my magic on it, you know, the whitener, just for the hell of it. But he's drilled some ventilation holes on the top, and inside. Oh god! So that'll be something for me to do after I've finished doing this video. I'll get on that, fix it up, and hopefully get it working again. Mad. Anyway, right. Oh, sorry, let's get a bit close there again. Back to what I was talking about. I got another game a few weeks ago that I've not mentioned yet on any of these videos, and that is this one. Now, I'm not going to try and attempt to pronounce it. It's just basically something Olympics 2000 by Konami, and all this is the Japanese version of this Track and Field. It's the Japanese version of Track and Field. It was, again, maybe £1 something. So yeah, I thought it might be different in that it would have like official, because it does have official licensing on the back. It's got the Olympics logo there, and on the front. So I thought maybe it was, you know how we got the Sydney Olympics game over here, Sydney Olympics 2000, that piss poor game, the official one. I thought maybe that was like the Japanese official Olympics game. It might be, as far as I know. I don't know, to be honest. So yeah, because in Japan, like they get different versions of games for like the official events. Like for example, on the N64 they had the France '98 official game. Wasn't the EA Sports one that we got. It was ISS '98, I think. One of them. It was one of the N64 games repurposed for the World Cup, and likewise with the prior, I think it was World Cup '98. They got Sega Worldwide Soccer, but redone as the World Cup game. I'll show you. Look, this is the Sega Saturn World Cup '98 game, and it is basically Sega Worldwide Soccer, but with the official World Cup '98 license. So they didn't get an EA Sports one. So I thought that that may have been the Japanese version of the Olympics game, but I don't think there's any branding when I played it briefly just to see that it works. I didn't see any Olympics branding or anything, so it might just be the same game but with a different cover. What else? In my last video I spoke a little bit about that shop nearby that's got a load of Dreamcast stuff in it, and there was, when I went down the last time when I got JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and Sonic Shuffle and whatever, there was a couple of games that I couldn't afford to get, so I went back last weekend, the weekend before, I can't remember now, and took a load of like just old N64 cartridges and some CDI games, video CDs, and I traded them in, and for the amount of credit they gave me, which was quite generous, I managed to get these two for £5. Street Fighter Alpha 3 for the Dreamcast, and also Marvel vs Capcom 2 for the Dreamcast. And even though I'm getting pretty close now to a full Dreamcast PAL collection, I've not got them all. I think I still need to get Street Fighter 3, I think it's Third Strike, as far as the Street Fighter games go on the PAL. But the reason why I don't have a full collection at the moment is because I always ignored the 2D fighters, because they were expensive, certainly in recent times, and B, I wasn't really that much of a fan of 2D fighting games. But as I've bought more, I've kind of got to know the intricacies of each one and how they differ, and so I've become a bit of a fan of them recently. I'm not very good at them still. In fact, I'm terrible. But yeah, one thing I have noticed though is that the Street Fighter 3 box, the printing on it is pretty bad. You probably won't be able to see from this video, but can you see how it's like double lined? Certainly on the ELSPA bit. That's not very good, is it? Certainly not for an official like release. It's not a bootleg, obviously, but like when you compare that to the cover of the Marvel vs. Capcom 2, that's pristine, and it's just the way it's been printed. Like, you know, sometimes when you read the newspaper and you get one of them pages that's like had it printed twice, like, but really close together, and everything looks like blurry and fuzzy. So yeah, that's all the games I've got this time round. And I have been playing some other things. I'll just talk about them briefly, actually. I got the Wii out the other day because I just forgot I had one, even though it's there in plain sight. You know when something's hidden in plain sight. The Wii has always been sat right under the TV. I just never even look at it, and I thought to myself, I've got a Wii there. Why don't I have a go on it? But I couldn't be bothered setting up all the sensor bar and stuff. So I got the Wii out, put the GameCube controller in, put the thing, and got some GameCube games out. And the one I spent the most time on was this. Extreme G3. It's an absolutely brilliant game. I love futuristic racing games, this, like Wipeout. I bought F-Zero GX a few months ago, and I got it home, the disc was cracked. And I went back to the guy who sold it me, and there was a big, like, to show him, but he was shut. And every single time I've been back since then, he's been shut. And it's only a market stall, so, you know, but that was years ago, so I'm not going to do it now. On the plus side, when I opened the box, I think I've told this story before, when I opened it, it was like one of them, you know, you get like a double thing and the one's flapping open inside. There was F-Zero GX at the front, cracked, but then underneath it was the Zelda collection, you know, that one with Ocarina of Time on it, and the other one. So I was like, get in. Even though it was unboxed, it's still worth having, definitely. Another thing I've been playing, you're going to hate me for this, Drive Club. I flipping love this game. I know Project Cars has just come out, and it does look amazing, but I've put that much time into Drive Club and I've actually got quite good at it now. I can actually come in the sort of top half of the races when I do online multiplayer, rather than just coming last like I used to do. And also I'm obviously playing against some pretty decent people. I'm coming I finished second the other day. I couldn't believe it in an online multiplayer race. Brilliant, with some pretty good people as well. Yeah, Project Cars is out, and I initially thought to myself, as soon as that comes out, I'm going to take all my PS4 games, just going to trade them in and get that because it looks amazing. But I've read a few reviews, and I don't know, it still looks like a really good game. Don't get me wrong, and I'm not going to knock it. But I think I've invested that much time in Drive Club now and got to know how the cars handle and how the game works, that I feel I should just carry on playing Drive Club because I'm actually enjoying it. Once you get the hang of the control of the cars, it does become quite an enjoyable racer, and it still looks absolutely phenomenal on a big screen with the weather and everything. Even without the weather, to be honest, yeah, it's brilliant. Like, I was playing the other day and I was like, is that heat shimmering? You know, when you're driving along in real life and the road kind of like shimmers and you can see like a little reflection. I was like, it can't be heat shimmering. It must just be like a graphical effect on the telly or something. So I paused it and went into photo mode and moved the camera around, and it simulates heat shimmer in the distance. I was just like, that is brilliant. Like, what detail. Just shows how good looking. Not as good as PC games. Whatever. It looks phenomenal on PS4. That's it. Anyway, sounded a bit like Zippy then, didn't I, from Rainbow. Anyway, right, that's it. I'm going to go and sort this creation out and see if I can get it working. I might add a little bit on the end later and see it to show. No, I probably won't. I'll just do another video later. Right, bye. Okay, just a quick addendum to this video. That Dreamcast I showed you in the last bit of the video, when I plugged it in and turned it on, it came on, and the screen came on with the Dreamcast logo, but then it just kind of died. There was no fan. There's no fan whirring or anything. So I opened it up and I took the GD drive out and replaced it with another one, and I also put a new fan into it, but the heatsink that was protecting the main board was a different type, so I had to break this little piece off the heatsink that comes out the side where the main board attaches to the fan. So then I put a different fan in, put the different GD in, and it seems to be working fine now. There's ToeJam and L3 running quite nicely. There you go, see, it's all connected up, humming away. The guy who sent it me, he was aware obviously that the fan was broken, so he drilled some vents into it to keep it cool. But I don't think they're going to be needed anymore, because as you can probably hear, it is humming away quite nicely. So yeah, just a quick little end to the video. Cheers.